Hey beauties, good evening to you. All right, I want people to understand that the devil, the enemy, whatever it is that God would create, that he comes with a knockoff version of the particular created being or the created thing. Now, November 1 is considered All Saints' Day. It comes from the root word hallow, Hallow, which means, a holy person. Or there is another term that is used, the All Saints' Day, Hallow Day. So it is really the Christian celebration of the faithful saints that have departed, and celebrate saints who I suppose are carrying the torch for Christ, basically. But it is really, that is what the All Saints Day, November 1, represents. So it is really a celebration, again, of the faithful departed ones under the Christian community. Now, remember the enemy. If God creates something, he's going to come with something that is a knockoff version, not the real deal, but something that has a sinister meaning behind it. So you had Halloween that was created, and it is a Celtic movement showing the end of the summer into a new era, into a new season. But a part of that Celtic tradition is that it is like a gateway, an opening where they open a portal to welcome the spirits of the dead into the world, the land of the living. That is a practice of the Halloween. If you go and do your research, the whole etymology of Halloween. So we know right there and then there is this dichotomy between the All Saints' Day, which begins the day after Halloween is actually said to be celebrated. I didn't research what October 30 represents under the same sort of evil realm. Let us put it that way. So beautiful people, when you're putting on, God has given all of us choices. God has given us not just choices, but really volition, to choose. But I want some of you to be very careful, because sometimes you take this thing as, oh Lord, I'm just being a part of the festivities, not understanding some of the things that you're probably pronouncing on yourselves. The Halloween is basically saying we're opening. Remember, the All Saints' Day, Hallow Day, which the Christians celebrate, is the celebration. There is no opening of any portal. It is just basically in remembrance of, for example, when you go to a funeral and you have the eulogy and you have the remembrance, and they talk about, I remember when so-and-so did this as a child, as they got old, as a teen, they did this in their young adult stage, older, or whatever age the person died. They give you a remembrance of the individual, the eulogy of, a more detailed executive profile on the person. Some people call them one and the same. There's a slight difference. I don't remember which one is a little bit more. I consider one like an executive profile done. Maybe the eulogy, or remembrance. Maybe they're the one and the same, because sometimes they seem similar. So the enemy is not going to allow a celebratory time like that under the guise of Christianity and not create his own sinister celebration. And what he has done, he has tweaked it in a very diabolical way and called All Saints Day, or the term All Hallows Day, and put Halloween, the Celtic movement. So what it does, it opens up. So, they celebrated the Christian one celebrated the departed saints, those who have contributed, to the work on the cause of Christ. And what he has done is made his mark, the enemy, and created Halloween through people, and say, all right, we are going to dress up in different masks, and we're going to go and perform a sort of a necromancy ceremony to celebrate the dead, welcome the dead spirits. And once you dabble into that, that is something that is definitely not synonymous with Christ. That is something, and I don't want people to use the whole thing when Jesus was praying and Moses and Elijah had visited him. That's a different thing, That has nothing to do with the dead coming back and whatnot. That has nothing to do with that. And if you notice, that was a one-off situation. We don't even know what took place under that sort of communion. But outside of that, remember with Dives and Lazarus, when he said, Father Abraham, please, at least when he said, let Thinker dip his finger and on some water and put on his tongue, he says, I cannot do that, basically. He said, all right, let me come back from the dead. He said, I can't even do it if I wanted to. There is a gulf there. And trust me, if them never listen to you when you're alive, if them never listen to the saints when they're alive, you think God know them are going to listen to you when you're dead and gone to come back and preach to them? No. When Jesus was physically on earth and they come and say, boy, Jesus, if you're not dead. Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. Let the dead bury the dead. In other words, a person is dead, they stay dead until the day of judgment comes. They're creating all this hullabaloo. So Jesus is right away showing you that until that day of judgment comes, you let the dead stay dead. There is no resurrection, no exhuming of any bodies. There's no, I don't want to use the word resurrection. There is no invoking of any spirit for any dead person to come. And that is why when people talk about, their dead grandmother comes, no disrespect. No disrespect to anybody, because I believe in showing respect to people and their loved ones, but it is not godly. It's not something that is godly. It is a replica of your grandmother, mother, child, whomever the individual is. And if you notice, even some of these horror movies, I don't really watch them, but back in there, I might skim through one or two of them. And you may see, like it says, when the person looks on and say, oh, whoever the person is, a loved one. And by the time they're to go close to the loved one, you see the true demon come out of that particular person. Even the very movie shows that it is not your loved one. So please understand what you're celebrating and invoking on yourself. It is a celebration of invoking the dead spirits to come into the world that we currently as humans reside in. Go and do your research, beautiful people. Some of you are partaking in things that are demonic, not understanding that you're calling down certain unnecessary challenges on yourselves and on the lives of your family. You said that earthquake yesterday. Yesterday was, I was speaking with a neighbor, and the neighbor said to me that October 30 is more, while this one is more in terms of Halloween, direct Halloween practice, October 30 is some sort of a demonic, satanic thingy practice. So he starts his celebration as the ending of October, because you're closing out this summer, leading into fall, then we go into winter afterwards. Beautiful people, be careful, be wise, be vigilant. Be wise as a serpent. Don't be a serpent, but be wise as one. Don't just be partaking every pan that knocks, every jump pan that jumps, I have to say. It is a dangerous and a devilish and a demonic thing. A lot of you are engaging in these demonic practices unwittingly, unknowingly, not realizing it's not a game. It is like these people who play with the Ouija board think it is a game until reality hits them. Or a demon, I should say. Be very careful, be very wise. It is a mockery of the All Saints' Day. That is exactly what it is, a mockery of the All Saints' Day. Well, God can never be mocked, but I'm just letting you know what the intention of it is. Because the All Saints is celebrating, the stalwarts in the faith. The stalwarts in the faith who have passed without any invoking of any spirit. It's just to celebrate the lives of those who contributed to the kingdom building of God. The kingdom building and the demolishing of Satan's stronghold. And what he has done, he made sure to use the day before, and even the as a precursor to welcome in demonic things and create and wreak havoc on the land. Please, my beautiful people, don't just get into celebratory things like that without knowing what it is all about. And then wonder why certain things are happening in your lives and you can't pinpoint it. Don't play with these things. It is dangerous. It is serious. Guys, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please share this message.